Hello students, myself Dr. Mansoor Maulavi. Today I am explaining the simple lipids. In first lecture, we had seen the definition, classification and the function of the lipids. There we seen the classification of lipids. Lipids are classified into four categories: simple lipids, complex lipids, derived lipids and the miscellaneous lipids. In today's topic, we will talk about the simple lipids. We know that simple lipids are of two types. First type is the fats and oil, and second type is the waxes. So we will see in the details. So we will see in details about the simple lipids. So as the word suggests, simple lipids are simples. So the lipids, which are the esters of fatty acid with the glycerol, are the simple lipids. So for any kind of lipids, these two components are very basic, that is the glycerol alcohol and the fatty acids. Because of esters of fatty acid with the glycerol, these simple lipids are also known as triglycerol or triglycerides. Example, the fats and oil in the nature are the example of simple lipids. We will understand the structure of the simple lipids by using this chemical reaction. This chemical reaction is known as the esterification reaction. And that is, this is the first very basic components of any kind of simple lipid. This is the trihydric alcohol glycerol. Second component is the fatty acid. The three molecules of fatty acids undergoes esterification with 3-alcohol group of the glycerol, forming the triesters, and this triester is known as the triglycerides. So this is the esterification reaction. So simple lipids are esters of fatty acid with the glycerol. These simple lipids are also known as the triglycerides. So we will look about the fats and oils in comparative fashion. About the fats, fats are solid at room temperature, while oils are liquid at room temperature. The second difference between these fats are present in animals, so it is obtained from animals, while the oils are present in the plant in the form of seeds. The fats contain mostly the unsaturated fatty acid and the glycerol, while the oil contains the saturated fatty acid and the glycerol. Fats as animal origin, they are stored in liver and the bone marrow of animals, while oils are stored in seeds and the fruits of the plants. This is the source, mostly non-veg, or the animals are the good source of obtaining fats, while the oils in the seeds are good source for obtaining the oils. So these fats and oils are integrative part of our diet that provides us the fats and the energy. So we have seen the fatty acid and the glycerol, all the basic components of the simple lipid. So it is very necessary to see what is fatty acids. So fatty acids are naturally occurring long chain carboxylic acid, and it contains 40 to 30 carbon atoms. So this long chain fatty acid contains the hydrocarbon chain, and that hydrocarbon chain is non-polar. This is also known as the hydrophobic chain. It is termed as the tail of fatty acids. While the carboxylic acid group COOH group is a polar group, it is a hydrophilic group. It is known as the head. So in the chemical structure, it is very clear this long chain of the fatty acid is known as the tail, while the carboxylic acid group is known as the head. So fatty acids are obtained by the hydrolysis of fats and the oils. The saturated fatty acid and the unsaturated fatty acid are two types of the fatty acids. So first we will look about the saturated fatty acids. As name suggests, saturated fatty acid contains saturated hydrocarbon chain. General formula is CnH2n plus 2. dash COH or RCOH. This R is an alkyl chain, and the alkyl chain is represented by the formula CnH2n plus 2. So the saturated fatty acid contains the saturated alkyl chain or hydrocarbon chain. These are the example of saturated fatty acid in nature. This acetic acid, propanic acid, N-butyric acid, caproic acid, lauric acid, myristic acid, palmitic acid, stearic acid, arachidic acid are the example of saturated fatty acids. While this is the source of this naturally occurring fatty acid, butyric acid is present in the butter. It is obtained from the butter. Lauric acid present in the coconut oil. Then myristic acid is present in palm oil. Palmitic acid is present in the sesame oil or arachis oil. Stearic acid is present in arachis oil, while the arachidic acid is present in the mustard oil. It is very important to note that any kind of oil can contain the mixture of fatty acid in the form of the triglycerides. Second is the unsaturated fatty acid. The unsaturated fatty acids are the unsaturated, and it contains the unsaturated hydrocarbon chain containing one or more carbon-carbon double bond. Based on the number of carbon-carbon double bonds in the unsaturated fatty acid are classified as monounsaturated fatty acids. Example is the oleic acid. It is also known as the delta 9 fatty acid. It means that the carbon-carbon double bond is present at the ninth carbon atom, so it is delta 9 carbon. It is delta 9 unsaturated, monounsaturated fatty acid. Second type of the unsaturated fatty acid is polyunsaturated fatty acid. Depending on the number of double bonds, carbon-carbon double bond, it is classified as dienoic acid. Example is linolenic acid. Linolenic acid contains two carbon-carbon double bond in unsaturated hydrocarbon chain of fatty acid. It is delta 9 and delta 12 fatty acid. It means that carbon-carbon double bond is present at carbon number 9 and carbon number 12 in the linoleic acid. Second type of polyunsaturated fatty acid is the trienoic acid, and trienoic acid contains the three carbon-carbon double bond. Example is the linolenic acid. Linolenic acid is delta 9 fatty acid, delta 12 fatty acid, and delta 15 fatty acid. It means that carbon-carbon double bond is present at carbon number 9, carbon number 12, and the carbon number 15. So in nature, mostly the cis double bond is present in the unsaturated fatty acid. This is the example of unsaturated fatty acid. This is palmitoleic acid. Palmitoleic acid is monounsaturated fatty acid. Oleic acid, elaeidic acid, linoleic acid, linolenic acid, arachidonic acid. These are the example of the polyunsaturated fatty acids. Second types of simple lipids are the waxes. So we have to differentiate the waxes from the simple lipids. This is the alcohol. This alcohol is known as the cetyl alcohol. This is the monohydric alcohol, which contains the long hydrocarbon chain of 16 carbon. This cetyl alcohol is present in the B wax in the form of the waxes. So what are waxes? Waxes are the esters of long chain fatty acid with long chain alcohol, and this long chain alcohol is cetyl alcohol. It is very important to note that this waxes does not contain the glycerol alcohol. It contains the long chain alcohol like cetyl alcohol and the cholesterol. So commonly found long chain alcohol in waxes are the cetyl alcohol. It is also known as the hexadecanol, and its formula is C16H33OH. It is also very important to note that human body also contains the waxes with the cholesterol alcohol with the long chain fatty acids. If you see the function of the waxes in nature, this function is very important. So waxes function as the protective layer on the fruit and the leaves of the plant. So it protects these leaves and the fruit from the dehydration. It is also acting as the water repellent on the feathers of the bird, also on the leaves. It is also acting as the protective secretion in the animals. The waxes are used in the preparation of the commercial products like candles, lubricants, coatings, cosmetics, and the ointment, polisher, etc. So here we have seen the two types of simple lipid, fats and the oil. Second type of simple lipid is also the waxes. So it is very important to note that we have to differentiate it between the fats and the oil. Also, we have to differentiate between fats, oil, and the waxes. The fats, oils, and the waxes are the types of the simple lipids.